I really want to get people talking about this because it's something, it started to ruin our economy in the UK. And the same problem is ruining all Western style economies in the same way. So we need to be talking about it. So let's go. Julie's got a pension and she pays into it each month. The money she pays in goes into a big pot of money, and many thousands of people in the UK pay into the same big pot of money. This is a pension fund, and it'll have billions of pounds of pension in it. And the people who hold this money invest it to make it grow so that we have a bigger pot at the end to fund our retirement. So let's look at 3 ways they can make it grow. 1, they can buy shares in the company. And if those companies use the money well, our pensions will grow with it. Or 2, they could lend it to government, we call it bonds, so that they can build new roads or transport links, so the whole economy benefits and we all benefit. Or 3, and this is the worrying one, they can do something else. And this is the only bit of jargon I'm going to use in this part of the video. These people are called private equity partners. And this is where it all goes wrong. This is Floyd the cat, by the way. So private equity partners buy companies with your pension money, and not always with good intention. They may decide to buy that company, sack most of the UK workforce, and then move all them jobs to another country where wages are cheaper. They may buy all the other companies that sell similar products and then raise the prices to make sure, to make more profit so that we all end up paying more in the shops because they bought all the competitors and we can only buy from them. They may take all the valuable things out of the company like equipment or designs and patents, and they might sell them to a foreign company. And they may even let the British company go bust. So let's go through a pretend example. So these private equity partners spot a British company that designs and makes a brand of training shoe. Let's call them Sportex shoes. And they're based here in the UK. They think they can buy this company for £500 million. So they go to Julie's pension fund and say, let us borrow 100 million and we'll give you a better growth on Julie's pension. The pension fund agrees, but the private equity partner still needs £400 million. So they borrow this from a bank. And then they approach the directors of Sportex shoes and they say to them, hey, we'll give you a big bonus if you sell your company to us for £500 million. The directors then agree. They then transfer that 500 million debt they borrowed to Sportex shoes. And now the private equity partners have got no debt themselves. They're safe. The debt belongs to the company. The next thing they do is they sack all the staff, move production to China. They also sell off all the equipment. And now all the wages that are paid out every week go to the Chinese economy, and the UK is generally now poorer. And if that company goes broke, then the private equity partners just walk away scot-free, as the debt now belongs to Sportex shoes. Your pension's being used for these type of deals all the time, and there's nothing you can do about it. These deals move jobs away from the UK, as well as stealing our designs that people have come up with here in the UK. So look, here's some typical salary scales for the people who work in these companies. And, you know, from this you can see you could be earning £100,000 at 26 or £2 million at 36. I hope that you can talk to friends and families about this, because this is something we don't talk about enough. If we don't talk about it, we don't vote on it, and politicians won't take any notice. So please share this video with someone who'll appreciate it. And don't forget to talk to your friends about it as well. Now, from this point on, I will use a bit more jargon. So if you've got a finance background, this might be a good place to start in the video. And if you haven't, this may be a good place to leave. So let's break this down in a little bit more detail. So private equity firms like to think of themselves as the savvy friend who takes everyone's money, say they'll make it grow, and then goes shopping for businesses that need a little TLC. They may pick up a supermarket chain that's seen better days, and then work their magic. They might borrow some cash to spruce up the place, introduce some new cool tech, self-checkouts, and then bring in a team who's going to think about the know-how to make things run a bit smoother. Now, I think that private equity partners are just in it to make a quick buck, and they leave businesses in the dust. But the firms will argue that they're the good guys, turning rubbish companies into superstars. But here's the catch. Sometimes the methods they use to make that money just ends up making the rich richer and can leave the rest of us feeling left behind and left out. It's like they're taking a bigger slice of the pie and leaving us with just the crumbs. But hey, that's the debate. And it's for us to figure out as a voting population on how we want the financial world to work. Let's have a listen, I think, about dividend recapitalization. It's a complex term for a bit of a simple trick. So private equity firms buy Sportex shoes and then order it to borrow a lot more money, pay some or all of the borrowed cash to the investors instead of investing it in staff or the business. And then these rich people then buy new yachts with the cash, while Sportex is directly on the hook for the debt. They must work a lot harder to service that debt. Or perhaps they take a different tack and they split Sportex into two. An operating company, which they'll call MakeCo, and that employs the staff that actually makes the shoes, and then FactoryCo, which owns all the property. The private equity owners then force MakeCo to sign long-term contracts to pay rents to FactoryCo, meaning that the people who make the shoes have to pay massive amounts to the factory company, and then they sell the factory company because it's making massive profits and can be sold at a high price, with the private equity players trousering all the proceeds. Now, if that sounds theoretical, it isn't. This tactic plays an important role in the collapse of many companies across the world, including the UK. So Sportex Financial Affairs will run then through tax havens to escape tax. So again, the British money taxpayer loses, employers get fired, they'll buy up local businesses to create monopolies, the private equity partners get rich as the wider economy is damaged. Now, think how all this plays out geographically. The winners are the bosses, the bankers, and the advisors, and they're probably based in the UK or offshore in wealthy parts of the UK maybe. And the losers are the British shoemakers, the packing staff, the business suppliers, the gig economy workers, and they're disproportionately from poorer areas, they're disproportionately women, they're disproportionately from ethnic minority backgrounds. Overall, money flows through these financial pipes from poor regions to rich, from women to men. And this is what happens on a global basis, and it actually causes financial crises around the world. So private equity buying sprees have hit a record as British firms have been targeted over the last 15 years, so we say. So how do we stop this? It's not going to be the banks that will stop it. It's not something that we're talking about. We need to talk about it more to make this a voting issue. So please share this with other people who'd be interested, and please talk about it more with your friends and family. And thanks for listening.